I work in the accounting department of a company. My boss has a 22-year-old daughter who is a real troublemaker. How do I know? Because every month, I pay her traffic fines. Driving under the influence, speeding, illegal parking, you name it. My boss was clearly fed up with this situation. Let me talk about myself. My name is Chris. I'm 185 centimeters tall, quite handsome, and I stand out wherever I go. This has always worked in my favor. I go out 2 or 3 times a week and I almost never come home alone. One day, my boss came into my office. He told me that his daughter would start working with us and that he wanted me to teach her what I know about accounting. I had never seen her before. This wasn't something I could choose. I was cursing inside, as if babysitting my boss's spoiled daughter in the middle of all this work wasn't enough. I figured she'd hang around for a few days and then get bored and leave. A few days later, my boss walked in with a young woman beside him. "Chris, this is my daughter Maya. She'll be helping you from now on," he said. He introduced us and hurried out. After a brief handshake, I went back to my desk. She sat in the chair across from me. Maya was more beautiful than I expected. That day, she was wearing a white blouse and a black skirt above the knee. Her hair was tied up. If she was going to help, I tested her knowledge on things like invoices and payments. It was obvious she didn't know much. When lunchtime came, she went to her father's office, and I went to my usual restaurant. After lunch, I was just about to get back to work when there was a knock on the door. Maya poked her head in and asked if she could come in. I said, of course. She pulled a chair next to me and sat down. I was doing my work and explaining what I was doing at the same time. Sometimes she reached toward my computer and asked questions. While doing that, our bodies were touching. Her questions didn't stop, and I explained everything patiently. She was the boss's daughter, after all. Days passed. Maya didn't quit like I expected. She came to work every day and learned quickly. For me, life at night was still fast. One Saturday, I went to a nightclub with friends. In the crowd, I saw Maya dancing. She was having fun with a female friend. It was hard for her to notice me, but I was determined to make myself seen. I grabbed my drink and stepped onto the dance floor. I approached her from behind, wrapped my arm around her waist, and leaned into her ear. "Don't overdo it. We have work on Monday. I need you," I said. She turned around in surprise. She smiled. She grabbed my arm and pulled me aside. She asked what I was doing there. I pointed to the table where my friends were sitting and said we came to have fun. She went back to her friend because she was left alone. I returned to my friend's table. But at that moment, we both knew a line had been crossed. One evening during the week, she sent me a message. Her car had broken down and she was stuck on the road. She asked if I could come pick her up. She didn't call her father or a friend. She called me. I asked her to send her location. While she was sending it, I was already getting dressed and heading out. When I arrived, she was waiting in her car. She looked relieved and genuinely happy when she saw me. I offered to call a tow truck, but she refused. "My dad will handle it tomorrow," she said. She locked her car and got into mine. She kept thanking me during the drive. I told her it wasn't necessary. Still, she insisted on paying me back somehow and suggested we have coffee. We went to a nearby cafe. It was the first time we were somewhere together outside of work. We didn't talk about work at all. The conversation flowed naturally, easily. When I dropped her off at her place, she leaned in close and gave me a brief, warm gesture on my cheek. It caught me off guard. When I got home, that small moment stayed with me. I waited for morning with a quiet excitement. The next day at the office, her behavior had clearly changed. She was more relaxed around me, closer than before. The questions, the looks, the small, almost accidental touches increased. Nothing had been said out loud, but it was obvious that the interest was mutual. This continued for a few days. What I had first seen as babysitting had unexpectedly made my work far more enjoyable. The boring office atmosphere now felt completely different to me. On Thursday, she asked if I had any plans for Saturday. I was supposed to go out with friends, but I told her I didn't have anything planned. She suggested we go out together. I accepted without hesitation. I messaged my friends, saying something had come up and that I wouldn't be able to make it. I didn't want to miss the chance to spend an evening alone with Maya. On Saturday, we texted almost all day about where to meet and how we would go. It wouldn't have been appropriate to pick up my boss's daughter from her house, so we agreed she would come by taxi. She arrived at the meeting point and got into my car. She was wearing a white mini dress. The girl who was learning accounting at the office seemed gone. Someone far more confident had taken her place. We went into the venue and sat at our table. After a few drinks, Maya wanted to dance, so we went to the dance floor together. She moved with confidence, clearly enjoying herself. Then a romantic song started playing, and couples filled the floor. Maya stepped closer, resting her arms comfortably around my shoulders, staying close as we moved together. She held my gaze without looking away. When the song ended, we returned to our seats. She said she wanted to go to the restroom, and I got up with her so she wouldn't have to walk alone. There was a line in front of the restroom. Two women waiting in line glanced in my direction and whispered to each other. Maya noticed immediately. She stepped slightly closer to me and shot them a sharp, unmistakable look, calm, confident, and possessive. The message was clear without a single word being said. After the restroom, we returned to our table. A soft song had started playing. With the effect of alcohol, Maya could no longer stay still. I understood much better now the reason behind all those traffic tickets. She took my hand and pulled me back onto the dance floor. She was having fun, her energy endless. I was tired, but I tried to keep up with her pace. After a while, we returned to the table out of breath. As we took our final sips, the distance between us had almost disappeared. Our hands kept finding each other, our eyes meeting for long moments. At the end of the night, I asked her, should we go to my place? She didn't hesitate. When we entered my apartment, she went straight into the living room. I stepped away to the kitchen to get drinks. I stood at the doorway and watched her. The girl whose traffic fines I had been paying for months was now sitting on my couch. Her clothes were slightly disheveled from the night, giving her a relaxed, effortless look. I placed the drinks on the coffee table and sat next to her. The distance between us was completely gone. Her body language made it very clear what she wanted. We stayed side by side for a long while without speaking. Touches, whispers, and glances said everything. Then I lifted her into my arms and we moved to the bedroom. Once inside, time seemed to slow down. The tension that had been building for days no longer needed words. We moved closer, everything unfolding naturally. In those moments, the outside world completely disappeared. There was only the two of us. We didn't even realize how the hours passed. It was late. She had to leave. As she got dressed, we were both quiet. We left the apartment together and got into the car. She mentioned she had forgotten something upstairs, but added that it wasn't important. I was curious what it might have been, but I didn't push it. I dropped her off and headed back home. On the way, I thought about the entire night. At the office, the master-apprentice relationship was over. Something entirely different had formed between us. Maya couldn't keep still anymore. Her looks, her teasing, her attitude had completely changed. The working hours I once saw as torture now carried a different meaning. Because now, when I walked into the office, there was someone waiting to wrap her arms around my neck. In the next story, I'll tell you what she forgot upstairs and how we got caught by her father.